Hey guys, Marsinkin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so, with all the hero stuff about to come out, I have seen some people talking about some units in particular, and I've mentioned it on previous streams and videos before. So I wanted to have a quick look in this video at a bunch of units that could potentially be receiving some buffs during this Heroes celebration alongside the Heroes units. So they are not Heroes units themselves. I'm probably going to put it in the title and the thumbnail, so you guys will already know. But that is, of course, the Xenoverse units. Now, the reason for that, if we look here, I've got the timeline up from last year. So here we are in November. Obviously, the first part of the month changed because we got a Dokkan Fest instead of getting the Tanabata LR. So Vegeta and Trunks should be in December. But the important part is, this is when the Hero Celebration started on both versions last year, 25th of November. And you can see from the list, the Dokkan Awakenings, these obviously include the new units and the old ones. And then, they're not in any order, but peppered in here, you can see we finally got the Awakenings for this GT Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, this STR Super Saiyan 2 Trunks that had been in the game for years, just left and forgotten, and then this Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and then we also got, alongside all of the Heroes EZAs, also Global got the Saiyaman 1 and 2 EZA during this time as well. We got the EZAs for STR Android 21 and Tech Android 16, who obviously are technically fighters characters. So basically 5 crossover units all got buffed on the same day all the hero stuff came out. So 21 and 16, the 2 Vegetas, and then Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. These units all got buffs, not just during the hero celebration, but literally on the same day. Now, obviously, crossover ties very heavily into Heroes because all the Heroes units are on crossover, and then of course there are a bunch of other characters as well. All the characters from Fusions, all the Arale units are on here, a bunch of the Bardoks because they're from like the TV specials. We've got like Super Saiyan 3 Broly because technically he's from Raging Blast. Mars Saiyan is obviously on here, and he technically in the game is considered a Xenoverse character. So when looking down this list, the only crossover characters that we don't have Awakenings or like buffs for that we could potentially get, like the Arale cards, I imagine are off the table. With everything we know that is coming, like the Heroes banner, the EZA banner for the units that are getting EZAs, it would be kind of cool maybe for it to happen eventually, but I really can't see them bringing back the Arale banner and like the Arale units during this event. So the only crossover units left that desperately need some help are the Xenoverse units. So we're going to go over them now. Like I've done in some of these previous videos, we'll just talk very briefly about what kind of stuff they would need in order to be good. But I'm very much hoping that these units will get some love, because not only are some of them good link partners for some of the other Heroes units, or will just make good additions to their team, but remember, some of the Heroes units have passives that require Heroes allies, but some of them are crossover as well. So the more crossover buffs we get, the better. And obviously, I'm recording this before the card details come out, so if they've already come out at this point might be moot. But if one of the leaders is crossover, like say one of the characters has a 200% lead that is like crossover, and then the extra 30% is for Heroes, then obviously you can run crossover characters under that 170, and so some of these units could still be very useful. So first up, we're going to look at our boy Int Demigra. So I remember when this guy didn't even have an awakening, way back in the day, years ago, he was useful. There was like a build you could make for Mono Int that was pretty much like a full stun team back when Dokkan event bosses could actually be stunned. And that team was pretty good. This guy got an awakening and got a giant form. So obviously giant form characters can be a little bit wonky, but Kumba is getting an EZA this year, so hopefully they've got some interesting ideas in mind. He does supreme damage with a medium chance to stun. Obviously we would want that to go up to at least a high chance to stun. He gets attack and defense at the start of the turn. He gets an additional 60% when all allies attacking in the same turn are extreme class. So obviously with Hearts coming out, if he has a Heroes lead or a crossover lead, making like a full extreme team with him is certainly going to be interesting. And this Demigra is one of the best link partners for Mechikabra, and he actually does have big bad bosses. So if this guy got an EZA that made him runnable in like the current difficult content, the rotation of him and Demigra would actually be Mechikabra would actually be like really good. So will be interesting to see. He has a high chance to stun the attacked enemy as part of his passive, so you can get the stun even though it's only for the duration of that one turn from the passive effect if the super attack one doesn't go off. And then he has the giant form, high chance to transform when HP is 60% or less. So pretty easy condition. And then obviously because he's an older unit, his giant form doesn't really do anything. He does get one key and he has a chance to stun. So we saw with the giant ape EZAs that Global got as global firsts that can be quite useful for things like Super Battle Road, getting the stun on the last turn of the giant form transformation, so then when you go back to normal the enemy is still stunned. So obviously give them some extra key. I think all great apes should get at least 2 or 3 key, or obviously if they're LRs or whatever, have like the extra keeper orb or something like that. But giant form units, I've talked about it in the past, I'm not a huge fan. They don't do like crazy amounts of damage or anything. They pretty much are just there to give you free turns with where you're not taking any damage yourself and you can chip away at the enemy. But giving them something like guaranteed crits and stuff like that would obviously be good. But this guy definitely has the potential to be very good on a full extreme build. So next up we have the Tech Toa. I believe this was the first Toa unit that was ever released into the game. She's got a weird nuking style leader skill. I guess her leader skill is not important. She does supreme damage to the enemy, greatly lowers defense and seals super attacks. So obviously super attack effect, if we want to give her defense or something, would be nice, but at the bare minimum she should greatly lower attack as well, because then obviously this makes her good for Super Battle Road. She's lowering attack and defense and sealing, so that would be quite useful. She gives all allies 3 key, and she gives all allies attack and defense 5% per extreme class ally on the team. So if you are running a full extreme team, including the friend, it is a 35% support. I feel like they could either up this or just make sure they put like a cap on it, so that the maximum could go up to 40 or even 50%, because it is tied to all the units being extreme. So I think making it 50%, because you are putting a minor restriction on the team building, I don't think 50% would be too much. And then she only gets all of her attack and defense when all allies in the same turn are extreme. So pretty much only usable on extreme team builds, but she definitely could be a high value support unit for those kind of builds if they do give her a solid EZA. So definitely interested to see what they do with her. And then the next one, this was kind of a favourite of mine. When he got his awakening on JP, I thought he looked really interesting. And Global, I really wanted him to come out so he could run him on the power absorption team. He links up reasonably well with Super 17. He infinitely stacks attack and defense. He gets most of his stats on Super, so he's obviously not a slot 1 unit. He gets extra attack when all the enemies are extreme. So like these guys all awakened at the same time, you can see a common theme. He gets extra attack when they're all extreme, so this could quite easily be extra attack and defense. He gets key 1 with each super attack performed up to 3, and then he performs absorption when conditions are met, which is HP 60% or less starting from the 4th turn. This condition I'm not a huge fan of. I used this guy on the GT Goku event mission for power absorption, and one of the things that I would find is if you got unlucky and ate a super on the wrong unit quite early and then this guy transforms, it can kind of screw you over for the later parts of longer events, because once he transforms he no longer stacks defense, he just infinitely stacks attack. Now his stats get a lot higher. He has a medium chance to launch an additional super, he's pretty self-sufficient for key, and then he gets buffs per extreme ally on the team as well. I feel like this is a really good base for a kit for him to be really, really good. So the transformation condition I think needs to be better. Obviously nowadays bosses, especially in the hardest events, are able to drop you below 50% HP quite easily. So obviously they can't change it to an active skill, because that's always the most beneficial, right? When you can choose to stack for as long as you want and then pop the transformation with an active skill. But since that's not going to happen, I feel like this needs to be at least reduced to 50% or less. just to make it a little bit easier to get by without transforming. And then once we transform, why not go all out, either keep the defense stacking or change this to greatly raise his attack and is still stacking, right? Because if he's just there once he transforms to do damage, then, you know, let's let him build up nice and quick. Medium chance to launch an additional super should go up to high, at least. Great would obviously be good as well. And then, yeah, extra attack when allies in the same turn are extreme. That could go up to 50. And then additional attack and defense 5% per extreme ally on the team. Put that up to 10. Because obviously, you could put a cap on it. You could even put it up to 15 or 20 and just put a cap on it. Because then that makes him better on teams that aren't all extreme. Where you don't have to run a full extreme team in order for him to get all the buffs. But he does still need all allies on the same turn to be extreme. So he is kind of limited in the team build options because you basically just want to run a full extreme team. But again, I could see this guy being quite the powerhouse if he gets a good EZA. Something that would be interesting is in his base form, have this as raise attack and then greatly raise defense. And then when he transforms, have it change to greatly raise his attack. Because as we've seen with units like LR Vegito Blue that just got his EZA, in certain like red zone stages and stuff like that, you don't have a lot of time to stack this defense in order to be good enough defensively for when you get to the final boss phase. So maybe greatly raises defense and just normal raises attack. And then when he transforms, they could switch and he could greatly raise attack infinitely and just raise defense normally, but still infinitely. Or even just for the turn, because he has built-in additionals. And then I think he could be really, really good. So those are the 3 extreme units. And then we have the 2 Xeno Trunks units. So AGL Super Saiyan Xeno Trunks. I think the reason why these units could do with some love is they are like uniquely named, like all of them. Even the other Toas in the game have different names to the tech Toa. So Super Saiyan Xeno Trunks. This unit obviously is very old. He got his awakening like almost 3 years ago now. Oh, sorry, almost 5 years ago. He got his awakening 4 years ago, but in January. So yeah, almost 5 years ago. So obviously, because he's so old, he has a very bare bones. Like, he does supreme damage, raises attack for 6 turns, and then key +2 and attack 80%. So he is a complete blank slate. They could do anything they want with him, right? Like supreme damage, raise attack and defense for 9 turns, key 3, attack 120% at the start of the turn, and then give him like chance to crit. Like, they do like to do that with Trunks units, right? So give him like a built-in chance to crit or something like that. And then yeah, I think this guy, like the possibilities for him are endless. And the reason why it would be good for him and the next one we're going to talk about as well, the physical Xeno Trunks, the reason why it'd be good as well for them to get like really solid EZAs is because Majin Vegeta's team is always looking for new good Trunks units to run to fulfill that condition to get Majin Vegeta's entrance animation. And obviously Global still doesn't have LR Vegeta and Trunks yet. And I know a lot of people, as much as they like the unit, their debut banner kind of sucks. And so some people, even though they like the unit, are not going to summon. So getting some more good Trunkses would obviously help out that team. And he does have some good links. All of these units have Xenoverse, which at level 10 is actually a really good link. But like, only these units have it pretty much. So, but he has units like Patrol, which some of the like Time Patrol characters from Heroes have. Cold Judgment, obviously good defensive link. Like, he's got good links. So if he got a good awakening, he could definitely be very useful. And then the physical Xeno Trunks, he's an AoE unit. He also does attack buff the allies for 1 turn, which is interesting. So it'd be kind of cool. They could, again, he's got a very bare bones kit. If your HP is 81% or above, he has no passive. So he's a complete blank slate that they could do absolutely anything they wanted to. Considering he has the attack buff for all allies, making him like a good slot 1 unit would be pretty cool. Obviously, there's not a lot of events outside of the World Tournament that have any sort of level of difficulty that require an AoE super, but he does have one. Hopefully they won't make a similar mistake with like units like Raditz, where just because he has an AoE, they undertune his offense quite significantly. But I think it would be pretty cool for this guy to get an EZA. And then actually one other unit, some people did ask me about this. I could make a separate video, but I don't feel like it's worthy of an entire video itself. But because we are getting the Super Strike revamps throughout the year now, and obviously continuing, remember there is a Super Strike Tech Xeno Trunks. So just like they did with, was it Golden Week, where both versions got the Super Strike revamp of the STR trunks, I think they could easily fit the Super Strike revamp for Tech Xeno trunks into this celebration, right? Because it's on both versions at the same time. Both versions got all the crossover buffs last year at the same time as Heroes. So I think there's a possibility that this could get quite easily snuck into this celebration as well. And obviously, as we've seen with the Super Strike units, they can get all sorts of different buffs. Because this guy does, like, basically nothing, right? If you're facing more than one enemy, he has no passive. And then it's Key 3 and Attack 5,000. So he's a very old Super Strike unit. Like, he literally is over 5 years. He's almost 6 years old. So, in fact, on JP, he actually is over 6 years old. So, this guy getting his Super Strike revamp during the Hero Celebration seems... Honestly, I would say it seems likely, more so than not likely, because, like, when else are they going to fit his in, right? Like, what other celebration theme does he fit if they're going to fit in that Super Strike revamp? So, we definitely could see that during this celebration as well. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Out of all of these units, which ones... I mean, I'm assuming if they were going to EZA, like, the Xenoverse units, they're going to do all of them, right? But out of all of them, which ones are you most interested in? What would you like to see from their kits? Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.